What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. The new Skarner rework has proven to be pretty powerful, and as now the statistics are finally out, he has an average of a 65% win rate in the game, which is higher than any champion I've ever seen. As well, really quick, I want to give a shout out to the new channel I'm working on, Gaming Curios Community. I'll be making community compilations and uploading a new one twice a week, so definitely check it out. Anyways, let's get started. So the main thing that happened with this Skarner rework that makes him so strong is the way his playstyle as a jungler got changed. With his kit before, he was mainly played as a tanky supportive jungler who suffered because he wasn't able to match up to the damage of other tanks, and he wasn't able to duke it out with the more aggressive junglers, and he also got kited quite heavily during team fights. But with the changes, his playstyle shifted to that of a carry jungler while still retaining his current strengths that defined his supportive jungler playstyle, and it resulted in a pretty ridiculous champion. Firstly, his new passive is insane. By giving him a ridiculous amount of attack speed and mana regen on his spires, he clears the jungle really quickly since the attack speed lowers the cooldown of his Q, and the mana regen is going to allow him to spam all of his spells during his clears, especially his shield, to make sure that you don't take too much damage. And so all of these things come together to give him maybe not the fastest clears, but definitely the best in terms of sustained mana and consistency. Him having such amazing clears allows him to really never get low in the jungle, and he can spend a lot of time farming whenever he needs to if there's no plays on the map. In addition, it makes it basically impossible to invade a Skarner now. Cheesy invades do tend to be a fairly popular tactic, but the attack speed, mana, and movement speed Skarner gets ensures that he can really just win any 1v1 in the early game against any other champion pretty easily, and that's a really big deal because it completely eliminates one of his older weaknesses that he had before. In addition, his new Q has a lot more damage per second overall, so when he starts chasing down and sticks to a target, he can take them down quite fast, and it scales a lot better with attack damage items too, and so this is where the carry power comes in now. And this also fixes the other problems he had of not dealing that much damage before. And his shield also shields for more health by scaling off of his maximum health now, and it's become much more useful in the late game, making him tankier overall inherently while still having more damage. And his new E is also one of the most insane basic abilities I've ever seen on a champion. First off, it's an area of effect slow and stun if you land the basic attack on all of the targets. It's also on quite a short cooldown and has a low mana cost. It just has so much potential since when you proc the stun, not only are you stunning your target and landing a bunch of damage, you get the ability from his passive of a crazy attack speed buff, some mana regen, and 100 movement speed. And to top it all off, when you proc the stun, it lowers the cooldown of his stun by 1 second. And so this ability, maybe not completely, but certainly helps a whole lot with his third and final problem of getting kited in team fights, and it makes him a really difficult to kite, super tanky, high damage bruiser force. As well, the new Titanic Hydra and the new other bruiser items are absolutely fantastic pickups on Skarner and scale incredibly well with his entire kit by giving him a ton of damage and tankiness all wrapped up into this monster of a champion. Definitely don't underestimate the power of an item contributing to a champion's kit, as I think the new Hydra plays quite a significant role in Skarner's strengths by giving him a really high amount of damage and some decent burst as well with the active without having to give up too much tankiness as a champion. The most interesting thing about the new Skarner to me is that this kind of damage and carry power isn't unlike things we've seen before. I mean, other champions before certainly have had the damage and stick potential that the new Skarner has now. But the main strength he has now is just how freaking amazing his crowd control is, as well as how fantastic his clears are. And those are the two main things that really set him apart, and also show off the tools of what can make a jungler really powerful. And it makes him strong throughout all phases of the game. So at the end of the day, his strengths got a lot stronger in that he got tankier and has better crowd control and movement speed steroids now, and his weaknesses were practically removed entirely from the game and making him impossible to invade, have loads of damage, and making him super hard to kite in team fights. So hopefully that gave you some insight as to why the new Skarner is so good, and thanks for watching.
The agent to a game that he sure to lose. Major symptomatic got to both in the time. I know it takes some money, those are paper. Keep in mind we just skip the ship well far